Alright, this one here is a 2008, I believe, Chevy Impala. It has the 3.5, I think. Yeah. 3.5 liter V6. And what I have in this car is a code for the secondary air. It just says insufficient flow and a whole bunch of other jibber jabber. So I started messing with it. Got some stuff back probed, and on the scanner you actually have, a lot of times when I see these, you know, with my scanner, how do I turn my light off again? That must be the shop light. You can go to functional tests, output controls, and you can do an air solenoid and the air pump relay. So you could actually, you know, just turn the fan on. Honestly, that's the first thing I did. Does the fan run? You know, do I have a bad fan, bad hose? So click it, hit on. I hear a relay click. Turn it off. And the relay is right next to the throttle body, this big one right here. So if I were to get my test light here, one everyone hates, you see you have, so if I turn it on, you can see I have actually power making it to the pump, or making it out of the relay and heading towards the pump. So what I did is I used some of my test leads, show you where the pump is and where I'm hooked up at. So under the car, there's the air pump sitting kind of in front of the left front tire area, and I have it back probed, and I used my black wire for my power feed, no reason behind it, and then I used my pink wire as my ground lead. So I have that back probed, and I have one of them's touching the ground, one of them's going up there. So we'll lower this back down and we can check everything from the top. Okay, so both wires are up here clipped to plastic. So they're kind of insulated, and the first thing is, you know, here's just touching ground here. If I can find a good ground, you'll see that, you know, test light's hooked up to ground, and then power there, so work. So like I said, my pink one was my ground, and when I touch my pink one, I don't show a ground. So that's where my problem actually lies. So, you know, if I did have a ground, because it's just, I'll show you the wiring diagram, it's just bolted straight to ground on top of the transmission, and the relay is controlling the power side. If I had a good pump, I'd actually show a ground over here on the power feed too, but just to show that it does get power to the air pump itself, we'll turn it on. Come on, man. I don't know if I need that. That's all right. All right. So you can see I have power making it to the fan, and then you can also see I have power on the ground leg. So that's why the fan's not running for the air pump. Did I say fan too many times?
Yeah. Whatever. You got your light?
It's a little fan. Oh, this little snap-on light.
Little?
Well, it was found on the road, and Nick had a charger for it. And I went to like every shop in the area, tried to find out who owned it. Huh?
Bungee cord.
I could. We're not sure if we like it though. It's just awkward to use. but it makes light. Anyway, I even asked all the tow truck drivers that are in the area, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he lost a light, and then I talked to that guy and they lost a little light. And so for the moment, I own a snap-on light. So back to the whole story. So you saw I had power on the power feed, and I also had power on the ground. So of course I got nervous here because it is a 60 amp fuse. Turn that back on. I think I got timed out here. Continue. Air pump relay. Turn it on. You can see my ground has power. I was afraid to do this, but I did it anyway, and it's drawing some amps, but you can hear the fan actually comes on. So for now, at least it spins. I don't know if it's blowing any air yet, but so of course I wanted to figure out where the ground problem was, and all it does is go from that air pump through like a 2-foot harness, and then it goes right to here, and then it bolts underneath the, if I can get to that stud, right to the right of that mount. It's hard to get a good picture of that one down there. Let's go into, come on, focus, that one. So that's where, I can't focus in that tight. That's the ground for it. So I have like a 2-foot section of wire, you know, or the connector at the, you know, one where I'm back probed. So I decided to, I got timed out again. You know, I was gonna start messing with the harness and pulling stuff out, and I figured, you know, maybe, you know, the ground's all the way at the end. So continue. I only have 30 seconds to do this, so this is going to be tough to do. But so if I get set up and I take my test light here, let's see if I can get my hand in there. Alright, so this is probably going to shake, and I apologize for it. I have no way of doing it. There's no one here to help me. Not even Nick. But if I turn it on, you hear the relay click. There's my ground. I only have 30 seconds to do this. Here's my test light. So if I can get back to where I'm looking at here, it's fuzzy. There's the ground. So you can see I have a ground at the case. So it's tough to get down in there, but you can see that I'm just touching the tranny case, and I have a ground. And if I touch the wire, I can not get, I'm actually touching the eyelet on the wire, I show no ground. And then if I go over here, pardon for a second, turn it on. If you're not dizzy yet, you could see I'm showing my power all the way down at that bolt. Come on, man, focus already. So I'm losing my ground at that connection. Crazy. So I'm going to take that bolt off, or the bolt out, and I got timed out there. So I'm going to take that out and clean that up and see if I can make the fan work, and then we'll get over to the solenoid, which I was just messing with to learn. So I'm going to clean that, be right back. Alright, so I pulled it off. That's what it looks like. Gonna get something down in there, but you can just see it's just all corroded aluminum. It's not even a clean surface. So gonna get some sandpaper, get something down in there to make that thing shine, get my ground tighten back up, and I bet everything works. So hopefully that shows up better on HD video than it looks like on my screen, but that's all I did. Just sanded it down, the wire end and the tab on the transmission. Got rid of the buildup of corrosion. I think the threads in the bolt hole, it won't let the bolt be a ground either, but hopefully I'll get a good clamp, so we'll see. Alright, got the key on. Sounds like I have a mode door sticking on the inside of this car, but it's not here for that. So I got my ground hooked back up. So hopefully when I turn the air pump relay on, the fan kicks on. Turn it on. Ah, I hear air. And it'll time me out, so I'm gonna turn it off. Can't kill the battery right now. So that's actually repaired, and it could leave now, but I want to play around a little bit because I was looking at the air solenoid. So you have the air pump buried down there below the air cleaner. There's the little muffler or whatever it is, filter on the one end, and then you have this like 1/2 inch, whatever it is, silver pipe coming up, and that runs over to here, and that runs under there, and it goes into that almost EGR valve looking thing, but it's just it's a solenoid and a sensor of some sort. I wasn't sure if it was just a position sensor. So, you know, you can make that one work too. You go to, that was the pump relay, we go to the air solenoid. And I can turn it on. You might hear it not come on, but you'll hear it turn off. So that's on. Might help if I actually turn the key back on. So listen to that thing. On, click, off, thud. So that's actually, you know, it's a solid ground, and then, you know, the solenoid's controlled by the power on this purple wire. So if I don't get timed out here, turn it on. I pulled my ground lead off. I got timed out. Alright, so there's 5 wires on this thing. The ground is just a solid ground, just like the air pump was, and the computer controls on that violet or purple wire, whatever it is, the power for the solenoid. So when I turn it on, you can see that, you know, we heard it anyway, but you can see it on, showing, you know, 11.7, off. Okay, cool. And then you have on the 3 wires here, you have your 5-volt reference, 5 volts, and then on the far leg, you know, that's the sensor ground, and if I showed a voltage there, I'd look for a open circuit just like the air pump. And then the center one is the middle of that potentiometer or whatever, and you can see I show 2.6. So if I go back here, I got timed out again, and I'm looking at my 2.6, and this confused me for a minute. I'm not sure. Hopefully it's going to work. Go to the solenoid, turn it on. It clicked, nothing changed. Turn it off. You see a little thing run through there whenever it shuts, but Turn it on, nothing changed. And at first, you know, I was thinking it's a solenoid, it's just a position sensor, you know what I mean, like the EGR position sensors, and then I started reading about it. So we'll go do that real quick on Mitchell. Alright, so these screens usually don't show up real good, but I'm looking at the 411 code, which is what I have, and a whole bunch of things that, you know, could be, and then the circuit description. The secondary air aids in the reduction, la la la, forces fresh air. Let me see. It's a pressure sensor assembly, so it's not even a position sensor. So it's actually looking for the pump to be moving. So there's, during phase 1, both the air pump and the solenoid valve are activated and normal secondary air function. So when it turns it on, it's pushing air into the exhaust during cold startup to heat up the converter operation. That's pretty much all it's doing. So it's looking for system pressure to be 8 to 10 kPa above baro, above your key on engine off, you know, map sensor, you know, baro reading. Phase 2 is just the air pump. They shut the solenoid valve, and it should see the pressure go to 15 to 22 kPa above baro, so you're building pressure. And then phase 3, nothing's energized, air pump or solenoid, and the system pressure should equal baro. So it's not like the older S10 one I did, where it's looking for, when it tested itself, it was during like light cruise, and it would turn the air pump on and click on the, you know, diverter valve, and it would watch your oxygen sensors go to lean because you're putting air into the system that's not monitored by the mass airflow. This one is all being done with a pressure sensor inside that valve. So that's pretty much it. So at this point, we should be able to energize it and watch those readings. I think I showed them. I don't know if mine shows kPa. I think on mine, air solenoid. So we can actually do the air pump relay and solenoid on this one and turn them both on. So we can look at it a couple different ways. So we'll do it with just the air pump first. And right now nothing's on, so if we scroll down to, there's the baro, see that's inches of HG, air pump relay command, air pressure, sensor. So I don't know, 14, I can't remember if that's like normal atmospheric, but here's the 2.65 volts that I have out here, and then your pressure sensor variance, and there's the air indicated pressure. So I don't know which one of these are going to happen, but if I turn the air pump on, if I actually turn the key on, sorry. So if I turn the air pump on, get that light out of there. Oh yeah, look at that. So it went from 14 to 16 psi. So yeah, there's a 2 psi difference. They were showing kPa. I don't have the calculation for that, so I don't know if it's right. But you see my air pressure sensor voltage went up to 325. So there's flow. Okay, so we'll turn that off. So that's just the air pump running without the solenoid. I got time dot. See if it'll let me do the air pump. We'll just shut it off and turn it back on. So we can do the air pump and the solenoid, so we can actually dump it into the exhaust here. So we'll go back to where we were. Airflow, air pump relay, solenoid. Here we're back to our 14 and no pressure and 265. So we'll see what happens when they both turn on. So turn it on. So it went up, indicated pressure It went up to 14.7. I had 14.1, so 0.6, 0.580, 2.82 volts instead of 2.6. So there's a change, but it's nowhere near as much as when it's when that valve is closed. So we can see it's working. The only thing I don't know is on a KPA standpoint. I guess I could look that up, whether the 2 pounds with it closed and the 0.8 of a pound per square inch is what they want. So let's see if I can figure out a calculation for that. Alright, so back to here. See, they're showing it's all KPA here. So phase 1, 8 to 10 KPA above baro. So we have 8 to 10 or 15 to 22. So we'll just pick like 9 and 18. So we'll try 9 KPA. And then in Mitchell, where's the tools? Right here. Up top here. Tools, the calculator. So we want to convert pressure. So we want KPA to pounds per square inch, and it was what, 10? Enter 1.45. So okay, so we even had more than that. It was 8 to 10. So 10 KPA difference is 1.45 pounds per square inch. So that pump's working good. And then the other one was, or no, 1.45. We're not going high enough. That was the low one. And the other one was like 15 to 20 something. We'll just go like 19. Enter is 2.75. So what's our minimum? Our minimum was 15, 2.17. We were right around that 2. That might be good enough. And the other one was 8 to 10. Is 1.16. We're a little light, but I don't know if that's enough to cause, because we were at the 441 or 411, and they're looking for expected system pressure 8 to 10 kPa above baro. But you know, the car's not running either, so maybe you know, my battery was low and I got a charger on it right now. So the 15 to 22, I think, you know. Alright, so I got it back together. I redid my calculation, or looked on the computer, and it was with just the air pump running with the valve blocked off, it was 2.1 for a minimum, and with that valve open with the air pump running was 1.1 as a minimum. So actually the car's been sitting. I went to lunch. I don't know if the air pump's going to kick on by itself just because of cold start, so we'll just look at these numbers first. And I don't hear an air pump. So this is just the air pump itself on. And you see it went from 14 psi to 16.9. We got 14. Stupid mode door. So we're going maybe 2.9 psi. I'm not sure why my indicated pressure is not changing. But if we go to if we go to just the air pump relay, I'm timed out. surprised they're not complaining about that mode door. That's pretty annoying. So we do the air pump, relay, and solenoid. And I should at least get 1.1. Air pressure 14. Start it up. Turn them both on. Hearing a whistle. But I'm going to like 1 volt. So I'm a hair under the 1.1, but this goes up to 15.3. So I think I'm good enough to, I feel confident in calling this one fixed. So thanks for watching, guys.